Hey guys, Miss Wills here. I am sitting at my desk and I'm doing this video to help you maybe prepare for your test tonight. It's just going to be a short video, and I'm actually going to use all the slides that we've been using in class to go over the things that you need to know. Remember, my videos are still posted through the week and last week, the week before, on the lessons that we've done in class. If you want to go to Discovery Education tonight, you can go to the school's website and go to United Streaming Discovery Education, and you can log in using your credentials, and I think you know what that is: your initials, a number, your initials, and then another number for your password, followed by GC. And if you will type in Mesopotamia, you will get some videos that you'll be able to watch that will definitely help you, especially the one that we watched in class today, because that's a really good one. Alright, so you can see that my screen is sitting on the map. That is because one of the first things that you need to know is where things are located on this map. Now, hopefully, you got to play the game in class today where you worked with the maps that were on the board, and you got to place the names over the locations and things in the maps. But you do need to know where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers are, where Mesopotamia is located. Caspian Sea, the Persian Gulf, the Sea of Galilee, the Dead Sea, the Jordan River, the Caucasus Mountains, and the Zagros Mountains. So you need to know where those things are located on your map. Alright, let's see what the next thing is. Alright, the next one is your standard 6.9, and this is a big one. This is a really big one. This is summarizing how Sumer, Babylon, and Assyria became civilizations and empires, and how they developed into city-states. So you need to be able to tell me who Sumer was defeated or conquered by, and then who they were conquered by. You also need to be able to tell me how a city-state in Sumer was developed. You're probably going to hear me shuffling papers. That's because I actually have your test in my hand as I'm doing this. You also need to be able to describe Sumer to me. So you need to remember what we talked about. You might want to read over this slide, because this tells about the successive one after the other civilizations developed Mesopotamia. And this slide, remember, I'm going through these quickly, but you can pause the video where needed. Where's the next one? Alright, still continuing with 6.9, King Sargon. You definitely need to know the difference between King Sargon and Hammurabi. And the next slide, the Assyrian Empire. And then this is the ending slide on it. And then we did a few questions about that as well. Remember this sheet, Akkad, Babylon, and Assyria. These things are in your spiral notebook, as well as this one. What was the first civilization of Mesopotamia? This is all about Sumer and the religions in Sumer and what Sumer might have looked like. Alrighty. Okay, we are not going to analyze any of Hammurabi's law codes on our test. However, you do need to know who Hammurabi was and what was so significant about him. Then we move on to standard 6.10, and this was agricultural techniques. Okay, you do need to know the agricultural techniques that were used in the city-states, specifically Sumer, and what that agricultural technique allowed for, I suppose you could say, what it helped their city-state to become. Alrighty, so I think you know, we have beat this dead horse so many times it's not even funny. Some of the agricultural techniques that they have, one most particularly was the irrigation system. So I think you need to know that, as well as some of the inventions such as the plow, the wheel. I think you know several other ones too that I'm not going to give away just yet. Okay, you also need to recognize that this is a city-state, and this is how irrigation systems worked in the Sumerian city-state. And I think you remember the video of the shadoof that we saw. Which a shadoof is not actually listed on your standards. However, you know that that was also an agricultural technique that they used. Okay, moving right along. I hope you remember this bell ringer that we did one morning in class. And this is when you took your sentences and you put them back together in order. And I think that your answer would have been this, except that there were errors in this that you were also to correct. And we did that in class. However, the screen that you're looking at right now still contains those errors. So I hope that you have this in your spiral so that you can go back and look at the errors and where they were and what they were. So you do need to know this standard. This is still about agricultural techniques and what it would have looked like in Sumer and how city-states emerged due to the development of these things because of the economic surplus that it caused. All right, we're going to continue going on down. This is 6.11, polytheism. I hope by now you know what polytheism is, the belief in many gods, and that you know that monotheism is the belief in one God. So, you need to know that the Sumerians were polytheistic, what the job of the Sumerians were, what the job of the gods were, and what the job of the priests were. So we went over that. I think we've talked about that plenty. You should not have any trouble with that. Remember, if you do, that you have this article right here on this page, and we did questions on this, and that is actually in your spiral notebook as well. All right, there is the social hierarchy that we did, and this has been completed in your notebook. However, you are not going to have any questions about this on your test, so you will not see this social hierarchy on your test. All right, let's keep on going. You had a bell ringer that asked you some various questions about Sumerians and the city-states, so you might want to run back over and look at that a little bit more. Alrighty, and then 6.12. Okay, on 6.12, this says explain the effects of how irrigation, metalsmithing, slavery, and the domestication of animals, inventions such as the wheel, the sail, and the plow on the growth of Mesopotamian civilizations. You need to know how each one of these things listed affected the growth of Mesopotamian civilizations. Always keep this in mind. People began to live together in places that favored trade. So you need to keep that in mind. You will see several questions on your test taken from this standard. Actually, let me see how many questions there are. There's 1, 2, 3. Looks like there's 3 questions on your test taken from this standard. Alrighty, moving right along. We broke this down into metalsmithing, farmers and trading, slavery, and then you were to finish this sentence as a bell ringer one day. We went on and talked about domestication of animals and the inventions, the wheel, the sailboat, and the plow. And now I think you know from playing the game in class today that this is a Phoenician sailboat, which is kind of cool. And we saw this in the video today for the Sumerians. That was the Sumerian sailboat. Alright, so you need to know the importance of those inventions and how they affected the growth of civilizations in Mesopotamia. This one I think you know also. This is the writing style of the Sumerians. You need to be able to identify that and what style of writing they used and what they wrote on. And remember, we had a little sheet that we put in our paper. We answered questions about that very thing one day in class because we read this article. This talked about writing and how the contributions made by the Sumerians to the world, writing was the most important. Some people are going to tell you that the wheel was the most important. I don't know. You choose. Alright, next one is standard 6.13, and there are several questions taken from this standard on your test as well. So, you need to know what the important achievements of the Mesopotamians were, the writing system, this piece of literature, the Epic of Gilgamesh. If you want to go back and watch the video, I think we did that last Thursday or Friday, so you could go back and watch that if you'd like to. Monumental architecture, I think you know the ziggurat. And then these different types of art. Relief sculptures, remember what I told you about how to remember what a relief sculpture was. Mosaics and cylinder seals. Let's see what else. Okay, and then standard 6.14 you do not have to worry about for this test because we will be working on this standard later with Mr. Tipton. So let's see if there's anything else I'm forgetting that I need to tell you. You need to be able to identify what a ziggurat, a city-state cuneiform, a relief sculpture looks like. If I gave you those pictures, you'd be able to tell me what was what, even the plow, even the sailboat. And you need to be able to tell me some of the pieces of literature that the Sumerians wrote that we still have. You need to tell me, oh yes, how could I forget this one? You need to be able to distinguish between Hammurabi and Sargon and Nebuchadnezzar. Now, I know you don't know a whole lot about Nebuchadnezzar because we did not go really deeply into our lessons about him, but we did with Sargon and Mesopotamia, Sargon and Hammurabi, so you need to make sure that you know the difference between those two. You will be taking, I think I told you that we were not going to break down any of those slides that we had on Hammurabi's law that were, I guess, on my other slide. Let's see. Yes, these. You are not going to break these down. You are going to break down a different one. Okay, and so you will be looking at a different law code that was written by Hammurabi, and then you will be answering some questions about it. You need to know what a city-state, I think I've already told you what the city-states would have looked like if you lived back then. Need to tell me the different types of architecture in Sumer. Oh goodness, and let's see. I think I told you that you need to look at how domestication impacted Sumer. And I think that if you know all that, and to be quite honest with you, I think that you do, because you've done a really good job in class lately. And when we've played those games in class where I've asked you questions, you've gotten points on Class Dojo, you've done a really good job. I'm actually kind of proud of you, just a little bit, but shh, don't tell anybody. I don't want them to know. All right, so study tonight. Get on Discovery Education, watch videos. Go back and watch some of my videos that we have posted online. Go over your map. And look at all those little question sheets that you have in your spiral notebook, because everything basically that you need is in your spiral notebook. And don't forget, that sheet that I gave you today that talked about Sumer, Akkad, and Babylon, have that done tomorrow, because when you come into class, I'm going to put that answer key up on the board, and boom, after that we're going to go with the test, and then you're actually going to put your test in easy assessment tomorrow. So once you get finished, you'll grab a computer and you'll put your test in. And then after that, we'll see. I might have something lined up for you. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? We'll see. All right. Good luck. 75 or above if you want to make a cylinder seal and a cuneiform tablet. No pressure. Just kidding. I guess that is a little bit of pressure. But you know what? You can totally do it. Totally do it. All right. And I will see you tomorrow. Good luck. See you. Bye.